Not an expert, but some people say brakes are important. This is one man, one hand, and no real plan. So I'm working on the brake pedal mount for the 36. I've already started this before I decided to start filming, so I apologize for that. But this is the firewall. That's what the master cylinder bolts up to, and this is on the inside of the firewall. I bought a kit to mount it on the floor because I thought it was going to go on the floor and mount to the frame and the pedal would come up through the frame. But I don't have room to do that. And so I am making the kit that I had that had this beautiful, had a much better pedal assembly here. I'm making it to where it mounts and the pedal will be inside the cab off the firewall. So I'm making a bracket for it to mount to. And how I'm doing this, and if you look at this side, is I put a tab on here and then I cut the hole. I cut that out for that tab to be able to go around and bolt to there, because in order to get the pedal off. So the idea is with this tab bolted up to here, I can then have a piece on this end that actually, this piece will be on the tab will weld there, or the tab that'll hold it will weld it. But if I weld it permanently to this firewall bracket or bracing, then I won't be able to get the pedal off ever. And so I want to be able to do that. So the idea is to then weld a tab on that I'll then bolt to the existing holes, and I'll be able to undo the whole assembly. I use magnets for a ton of stuff because I simply only have one hand. You can see I want access to the hole for the master cylinder, and I need the access on the other one. I also need to not interfere with the main hole, so otherwise I wouldn't be able to push or mount through to actually have brakes. And I also want it to be straight up and down, straight up and down, and the whole thing's got to work within alignment. Got this drilled for power brakes because I'm using power assisted brakes, and I based it off of this one because this is the notch from the kit that said it was power brakes, so I measured the same distance and drilled it. I'll cut that tab off. I'm going to cut that off when we're done, but I want to leave it so I can make sure my measurements are always the same. And then I'll probably have to reshape the pedal because it's designed to go through the floor rather than hang underneath, but it's a good starting point. just realized I completely made that wrong. That's dumb. So that's fun. You can see where I need that hole to be, thank goodness. So I'm gonna go over to the drill press and drill that out. Great news! I found my nut! Woo! Now, this is the plan here to have it stick through. And the main reason I'm going to have the bolt come in and not set like a captive nut or something is because I'm picturing myself installing this and I'm not going to be able to balance everything and put it all up there with one hand. So what I'm planning to do is have this welded in place. That'll hold it up. Then I only have to worry about getting that in place because this will be supported here. If I had to put them both in, it's just me juggling a lot of stuff and getting a black eye. So, on with the show. We have our tab welded on with a bolt coming through that's welded to the back. Can be secured, and it tab mounts up there and lines up with our brake pedal mount. All of our holes will clear and we can actually bolt up our master cylinder. Let's give that a whirl. First thing is I need to grind that just a smidge more so that it'll bolt all the way up. So I'm going to grind the corner off of that bracket right there so it'll slide in a little bit better. And then I'm going to go ahead and grind that off, and then we'll try and do this again. What's going on is this isn't perfectly straight, and it's binding just a smidge back there. So if I bend that just a touch forward, it should fix it. But I'm still pretty pleased. I've got the clearance I need here, and this went all the way up now after grinding. So a few more tweaks and I think we'll get it. The distance between these two is so short that I think I may just see a different way to couple it after I've got it up underneath the dash. So that's what we're going to do. One of the things I really want to try and show as I do this stuff is just how I do stuff. And here, a simple bungee cord wrapped around there across the hood support, or radiator core support, I think is what it's actually called, helps hold this in place so that when I come underneath to actually bolt all that together, I don't have to try and reach and hold and do all that, and it's not a balancing act. So after quite a bit of tinkering and trying to figure out the best way, we ended up going with underneath it and set back so that it would be a little bit recessed, but yet still out of the way of the gauges. Now that the paint is dried on these two brackets, I'm going to start to assemble some of this, and then we'll move under the dash and finish installing it and seeing how it works. I should note that I cut this down to the size I actually wanted it to be once I had it all put together, so I knew how much extra material I needed to leave. So now I'm going to install it. This is the rough draft of my brake pedal assembly. I have tacked the nuts on the end of those. I plan to weld them fully when everything's taken out again. But that will allow me to have just stick the bolt in and bolt it in, and I don't have to worry about trying to hold a nut on top of a bolt and get everything tightened down. But you'll note that I've got that cross brace bracket tacked welded in place, and it'll be bolted in place so I can take it in and out. It makes the full assembly fully removable except for the initial brace that supports the master cylinder to the firewall. Everything else can be unbolted, and I can unbolt the pedal and take it out if I need to service it or do anything. So tune in next time and we'll see what other chaos we can unfold.